Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Justin and Mike. We're back today to do a little bit of a follow-up to last week's video. This was primarily Mike's idea, so thanks, man.
Of course. Look, you gotta collaborate. It's the fun of it.
Vanilla Ice said it first. Stop, collaborate, and listen.
Straight up.
So, this one is realistically... We talked about the digital aspect a little bit last week. But now this is like the journey post-theater. So it's how they're releasing it digitally, how they're releasing it physically, what they're doing a few months after they're releasing it, what they're doing a few years, just like their whole approach to it. So first off, I'll let you just dive into your initial thoughts on it, Mike.
Well, I am a huge physical medium person, as is yourself. And
before you go on, dip to the left a little bit. Let's see what's behind you.
Can you even see that far?
Tilt your screen down a little bit. There you go. Yeah, look at all them Blu-rays. And that's just the stuff you can see.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, I have a fairly big collection. I started probably like 2013, 2015. I don't remember exactly, but I have a picture somewhere of, like, my original collection, which is just, like, 20 movies on a little shelf. And at this point, I have almost 1,900. So, like, I know there's many collections that are bigger than mine, but I appreciate physical media. I don't really play a lot of video games, so I don't really buy that physically as much. But if I did, again, would buy it physically. And I try to even buy music on vinyl too. I mean, I know that's not movies, but
they'll give you the digital code. And the most important thing about this conversation, you guys, I know you're going to say, like, oh, well, Justin has a lot of physical shit, Mike has a lot of physical shit, they're just going to trash digital. No, there's a lot of good things about digital.
Absolutely.
It just depends what we prefer. Me, personally, I love having I can't talk. I love having movies physically. I do. I like the special editions they come out with. I mean, me and Mike both got it, but like the huge, big Chungus Friday the 13th collection with all the movies in there, even Freddy vs. Jason and the reboot with all the cuts, fantastic. And what I'm just getting a little bit iffy is obviously, again, mentioned in the previous video, the release window. So it'll release in theaters 45 days, 60 days, whatever. And then you'll get it released on digital. Do you remember for a while they were releasing it on digital, and then they're just like 3 weeks later you'll get the Blu-ray?
Yeah, I mean, they tried that, and I think it did work to an extent, but I feel like they were kind of like chopping up their own market.
Yeah, I think that was like, what, 2019 through 2020 they were doing that, I believe?
Yeah, like, I understand their reasoning behind it. This was like pre-pandemic, so ignore all of that factor into it. But yeah. I think it really comes down to the fact that, like, there's people who want digital and want Blu-ray. And what I think they were trying to do is have the idea of, like, oh, if you can't wait for Blu-ray, buy the digital and then buy the Blu-ray later or something of the sort. But I just don't understand why they wouldn't come out on the same day, because I feel like it'd only be beneficial because, I mean, I guess it clearly didn't work because they kind of stopped doing it. And I doubt that's the pandemic, considering things are so much harder to get now, even like with the general problems with shipping and stuff. So
I mean, realistically, if it were up to me, if people would want to make money off of this stuff, actually, I'll consult with you. Do you think it would be beneficial to release Blu-ray first and then a few weeks later have it digital?
I don't think that'll be beneficial either, because I feel like it's the same idea, just reverse. I mean, that's what you're saying, but
yeah,
it's the same thought behind it, is that then it's like, oh, well, then you put out the Blu-ray and then people have to wait for digital.
I guess what you're saying is one way or the other, you're alienating your market.
Yeah, and it really comes down to, like, here's the question of digital, because I'm specifically saying digital movies as in what you would buy from Amazon or iTunes and all the sort. I'm not talking like Netflix, Hulu. That's something else. Like, that's if you pay for a service and the movie comes out on. I'm talking
We're talking about like buying
for it.
Yeah, like I'm like with me and you with Bill and Ted, obviously, like, we are fans of the franchise. They made that movie for the fans, and they just had to say at one point, look, we just got to release this movie for people. So they released it, and I paid $20. I still want to get that collection myself. Met Alex Winter at the con. Me and you both did.
Yep.
Freaking awesome. But yeah, I wanted to pay the digital price for it because I wanted to see it and I wanted to give them the money because they did a lot for us.
Yeah, and I think I even said it in the last video. I saw that in theaters during the pandemic. Okay, so it came out in August of last year, and I bought it from Amazon, $20.
Yeah.
Then I went to Chicago for a weekend, or a week, I should say, and went to a local mom and pop theater and saw it there too. And that theater was awesome. I forget the name. It's like a little outside of Chicago. It's in one of the suburbs, but it's really cool. Like all the theaters have their own individual like themes. But
Oh, cool.
yeah, and they even had like signed stuff and memorabilia all over the place. But the point is I saw it there, paid that, and bought the Blu-ray when it came out. And I know that seems like a lot, but I like to see movies in theaters if I can. And I wanted to see it day one, especially with the spoilers. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of a no-brainer to buy it on Blu-ray anyway, because as I said, I prefer the physical copy over digital. And while I have the digital, it was a different circumstance I felt than just like, oh, I need to watch the new movie. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think also, if I want to be real with you, like I have tons and tons of Blu-rays here, probably at least 50 to 75 Blu-rays, because realistically, I can only fit so much. So if I take a Blu-ray upgrade to 4K, I just trade in some of my Blu-rays. But I don't know. Let's say let's pick the Fright Night movie, the reboot. So obviously older movie, but let me open it up inside. Bad example. But what I was looking for realistically is, you know, a lot of regular Blu-rays. If you would buy it, it would say redeem now within the first like month to get it like a Voodoo digital copy or something like that. You know, I
Yeah.
don't know if movies have done that before. Realistically, have you redeemed any of that stuff for you?
I have a friend who at one point was just we were all like connecting our Voodoo stuff, and I was just putting it on his because I didn't care for the digital copies, because at that point I either like will watch the Blu-ray, or if I was out and about and needed to watch it, which is very rare, maybe Netflix is on a
Yeah.
trip or something. But I tried to redeem them, and I just found myself never using it. So I was like, at least with the friend group that I had, we would all just kind of throw our digital codes in there so anyone could watch it.
There you go. So, Bohemian Rhapsody. Got that. Opens
Oh, is
up.
that Target exclusive?
Yeah. You know it.
Yeah, of
But
course.
there you go. There's the digital code right there for the movie. I'm not doing a good job of covering up. Not that everyone's gonna fucking scan my screen and take the code, but
Even if
I
they
don't.
do, are you really ever going to use it?
Yeah, like I'm sure this okay, digital version of the movie may not be available in 4K Ultra HD. What's the point now?
But
I'm
no, but see,
like
that
I gotta
brings up a
figure.
big point though, because like if it's not in 4K and I buy a 4K version, wait, is that Blu-ray or 4K?
This is the 4K version.
Yeah, then why
It's the
wouldn't the digital
jacket
be?
for it. Jacket
Yeah,
for it.
exactly. So then you're telling me that you're paying all that money for a 4K movie and won't even be able to get the 4K digital download of it?
Like I'm a little iffy on that because it comes with the 4K and Ultra and Blu-ray edition. I think mainly why people put stuff like that on their computers is to watch it on a plane or watch it on the go or
Oh,
something like that.
absolutely. I'm just saying, if I pay for a 4K movie, I'd hope the movie be in 4K. But it's the same conversation we've had about the like in general just director's cuts. Like you look at something like what Fantastic Beasts 2, I believe, that only had the director's cut on a digital download,
Oh, that
and you
infuriates me to
can't
this
watch it
day.
on. Yeah, and that's the thing, is like we both have that in 4K, and I don't want to have to download a digital copy to watch the director's cut. And it's like a similar situation with Doctor Sleep, where you could only get if the extended edition director's cut is only on the Blu-ray.
Yep.
And that bugs me too, because it's like, well, then why not just have 4K version of it? And I think that like
Dick.
all these
Because
ideas that people have, it's almost like I keep saying, it almost screws up their own market, because they can't actually have like, here's the decision we made and stick by it.
Yeah, because I believe... Oh, that fell out. Yeah. So I'm just taking out the disc for reference purposes, but Ultra HD, Deadpool 2, Super Duper Cut, it's on 4K.
Yep, I have the Steelbook from Best Buy.
Nice. I have the Big Chungus Target one that comes with the children's book.
Nice. Yeah, and that's like, see, like, I will say one thing that, like, is, especially for this subject, is that Best Buy and Target, I will say, do put out nice physical editions. Because Best Buy, you usually get the Steelbook, and Target usually has, like, a book or the Digipack with, like, a book attached to it. And I really like that idea that you can still get the movie, but get a nicer case. Like, when even without the special
there's
features,
Best Buy
it's collector's edition.
Yeah, there's Best Buy exclusives, there's Target exclusives, there's Walmart exclusives. I don't know if some other companies have done exclusives. We're not counting Shout and Scream Factory and stuff like that. But like
Zavvi does, but that's a UK-based company.
Okay. Yeah. So realistically, I think there's a lot to be talked about that. Now, you were having an issue at Best Buy recently, right, with the Blu-ray pre-orders?
Yeah, so obviously Best Buy has many steelbooks that they come out with. I've even seen Best Buy release a movie and then, or like the movie will come out and then months later, even years later, them do a steelbook version. Like a perfect example of this is I'm pretty sure American Psycho was on 4K at least in 2019, and they're putting out a exclusive steelbook in October, or it might be November, but I believe it's October. But the thing is that I can't even order it for in-store pickup. I have to order it online to get it shipped to me, and there's just something, and I know a lot of people really like that aspect of just, oh, I can just wake up and it's at my house. I know you and I have had this discussion many times of there's something about going to the store, picking out a movie, getting the physical copy, bringing it home, and popping the disc in.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So let me see. American.
It's just something different.
So you said on 4K, right?
Yep. And that's the Best Buy exclusive, the one in the corner.
Okay.
The steelbook.
Oh, the one that's like, oh no, that's the UK.
No, it's the one all the way over.
Okay, uncut version. Yeah.
The other side, yeah. The steelbook's the one all the way.
Yeah, I see it on the left.
Yeah.
Damn, it's actually pretty cheap right now. $13.99. It's not bad.
Yeah, and that's another thing is prices of things that really bug me, because you look at American Psycho's $14 on Amazon and the new steelbook is $20. But then you look at something like A Clockwork Orange, which just put out their steelbook for the 50th anniversary, and I paid like $30 for it on 4K. And see, it's $25 at Target, but
so someone's selling the steelbook on eBay for $76.
That's don't even get me started. That's a whole thing on the scalpers and people who walk in and buy 5 copies of it to flip them off.
I know that infuriates you, but you just gotta accept that's gonna happen.
Oh, absolutely. I understand that people are just gonna do what they want to do. I just can't stand it.
Wait, hold on. Let me see. Is it still unavailable nearby? Okay.
Yeah, like, and here's a good example of this, and this is why I think it's so weird, is that you look at that, and I went on release day to pick it up at the Best Buy in Delaware. That's near my house.
Yeah.
And they didn't have it. The next day, I was browsing Best Buy and saw that they had 2 copies for in-store pickup. Was able to buy one and pick it up.
That's annoying.
And it came out on the same day as Unbreakable. And I ordered Unbreakable for pickup, but for some reason they didn't have the day. Now, here's the question. Was it the shipping, which is always possible because of how bad USPS, UPS, FedEx, all these are
My
so
thing
bad.
is, like, something like this, with Unbreakable being how big it is, and I know Split, if I'm not mistaken, is out on 4K, and Glass is out on 4K. So Split 4K, yeah, it is. Don't $16.99, and Glass, it's probably like the same price realistically. I want to say.
But see, that leads me to my
sold out. Okay.
Well, that leads me to my next point of why I'm so frustrated at the prices. And look, if you see, it
was $22.99.
If you can see, go on to look at the menu and see if any movies that are up for pre-order you can pick up near you, because every one says pick up unavailable.
Universal Monsters 4K.
Yeah, because I know they have the steelbooks coming out.
Yeah.
They have the box set coming out, but they did all of them except for, I think, the Invisible Man.
It just says coming soon.
Yeah, and that comes out 10/5. So does that mean it's sold out? Like, how can you... Like, I see, that's what I don't understand.
Yeah, I really want this because I have only seen the classic Dracula, and that's it.
I have the whole set on Blu-ray, but I would love to get the 4K of, like, the main set. But they do all of them except for the Invisible Man on Steelbook, which...
The Invisible Man?
Invisible Man. No, but Invisible Man. If the Invisible Man is the only one not on 4K, then you have, or Steelbook specifically, you have to buy the box set. But then the box set says coming soon. But if you look on Best Buy at all the upcoming releases, they all say you have to get it shipped to your house. And
so do you think the issues with the Blu-rays and stuff, because let's be real, me and you both know, and a lot of people are starting to know, I posted about it on Facebook, Best Buy's Blu-ray and movie section is like one aisle with like 2 or 3 standees now. I'm not talking about a full aisle like this on the left, this on the right. I'm talking about like one aisle, and then on the other side they might have something.
Because I even remember...
Oh, shit. But no, some stores, it'll be one aisle and stuff on the other side. Other Best Buys, it'll just be one aisle, and that's it with a few standees. But my thing is, like, I ordered something to be picked up, and it sucked because they didn't have it ready at the pickup counter. So dude had to go in the back, go find it, even though it said it was ready for pickup, and there's like 3 of them on the shelf there that I could just pick up one. I could just pick up one of them and grab.
Well, here's the crazier thing, is I'll run, like, go back to the point I had before, which was finishing up, is like, you look at something like Unbreakable, you saw the price. Why is Unbreakable just as old of a movie as American Psycho, but American Psycho's 20 and that one's 30? That is just like, it's a popularity thing, a release date thing. I don't know, but that bugs me. But anyway,
I guess they could always base it on data, because I'm sure that these companies have inventory that they give to Best Buy and shit like that, and they're probably setting numbers about how well their Blu-rays and DVDs of that specific movie are doing.
Yeah,
like, their digital release. So say like American Psycho, throughout the year, 50,000 people purchase American Psycho, and then for Clockwork Orange, 250,000 purchased that. So like, maybe that's why I know nothing about that sort of thing.
Also, American Psycho has been out for 2 years, so I figured like they don't want, people aren't going to upgrade unless it's worth it and it's cheap enough.
You'd think American Psycho would cost more because, like, yeah, Clockwork Orange is like Stanley Kubrick, like, popular film. And American Psycho is popular too, so much to the point where there's memes everywhere about it, where they're showing each other their business cards and they're swapping out with like cat pictures or Pokemon cards or something like that. Like, you'd think since it's more in the public eye, it'd be more expensive, but
yeah, but to actually get back to your point, it's like, here's a good example of this. I went to, it said it was in stock, and I didn't order it for in-store pickup. I just looked because I was on the way to Best Buy. Was actually on the way to the card shop, and I was just like, hey, it says it's in stock, let me check Best Buy. So I go in, and I'm looking for the Labyrinth 4K. It's nothing really limited. It's like a nice edition with a book and everything, but it's not an exclusive to Best Buy or anything.
Yeah.
So I walk in there, I cannot find it. I looked at the front where all the new releases are. I looked at the current releases. I actually had to ask a guy to go into the back, and he found it in the back. Now, it didn't say 1, 2, or 3 copies left. It went in stock, which means one of two things. Either whatever was outsold and they just didn't put out the new stuff, or they're just not caring to make sure stuff is out now. Because you even said you had a discussion with that worker at the one Best Buy who said most of the movies get picked up by people, so we don't even tend to put all of them out.
Yeah, so that's what the guy was saying. This was, mind you guys, this was like 6 months ago. The guy was just like, oh yeah, we're condensing our 4K and Blu-ray and movie section just in general because a lot of people, or a lot of our Best Buy customers are either doing online ordering or in-store pickup. I was like, okay, that's fine. But that means that they're not going to be having a. So my whole point is like, okay, then what's the point of just? You should just have a warehouse at that point with a little fucking window at the front saying have people pull up, you know?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
people like looking at things. Like if you're doing clothes, I get you don't wear a Blu-ray or nothing like that, but like people pick up clothes they want to try it. People see a shoe on display and that's what entices them to say, hey, I want to try on that shoe. So you're seeing something and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot that was a thing. Oh, I forgot the new Jordan's release. Oh, I forgot this like movie
And
just came
here's the
out.
thing,
Da, da,
though.
da.
You still look at the inside of the shoe to see if it looks comfortable, just as much as you would pick up a Blu-ray, read the back, and be like, "Oh, this sounds like it's worth getting."
Yeah. So like, now that we're done talking about that, I can't talk. Now that we're done talking about that aspect, I just want to talk about not the release windows and stuff like that because we talked about that before, how it's losing them money and people are pirating, da da da. But at this point, I want to dip into what you mentioned a little bit earlier is like the streaming service aspect of it all. We talked about you not even knowing that Candyman or Don't Breathe 2 came out on a streaming service. Candyman came out on demand. Don't Breathe 2 came out for purchase on Amazon.
Yeah, and like I didn't even know until you said, and like it's being advertised to an extent, but the new Halloween movie, Peacock, is the same day as theaters.
Yeah, and that sucks because like I would love to see it in theaters. Me and Mike are big horror guys. We went to Monster Mania horror convention, and this one was in Maryland. It's usually in Jersey or PA, but we went over there this past week, and it's just people love that kind of stuff. But I don't know how much money that's going to make them. But the good thing is, budgets for horror films aren't usually that high.
That's how they're able to keep throwing them out. Is they take them for 10 to 20 million, and they make 250 to 400 million.
Halloween Kills. Let me see if they have the budget on there. If they don't, I'm sure it'll be put up in a few weeks.
I mean, just look at the Halloween 2018, what it made compared to what it was released for.
Yeah, so no budget.
Made, like, more than quadruple its budget.
Yeah.
But as like a side note,
Halloween 2018.
While you're looking that up, like when the last thing I have to say about
budget 10 to 15 million. Sorry,
like
made 10 to 15 million. It made 255 million.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like the retail. Last thing I have to say about like the retail aspect, is the fact that even so, just going to pick up movies is insane. Like I remember, I have two stories. So like we've been to Georgia a few times visiting, just all the Stranger Things, and one of my closest people in my life lives down there, Cheyenne, and I was down there, and when Godzilla vs. Kong came out, had to pre-order the Steelbook to pick up, and they had one left, and I got it. But they had none left in store. Now the question is I've done that here, I've done that there, and I've seen movies that said it was out of stock at Best Buy, and I think at a point they're not even like representing their own store because it sounds weird to say it that way, but you go to pick up a movie and obviously they have a certain amount for pickup, a certain amount they have to put out for people to come in and buy. But nowadays, that's not even a thing anymore. They don't even really have we need this to put out because people might walk in the store. That's not even really a thing anymore. And you look at like something like The Goonies.
Yeah.
The Goonies 4K Steelbook was out like that. But I went to a random Best Buy in Georgia and saw that they just had a copy. But it said it was completely sold out at every Best Buy. You could not buy it at a single Best Buy. And they clearly had a copy.
I mean, like, certain things like that I get, but obviously inventory is never perfect. It's like when I went to Target, they said they had a bunch of Baja Blast 12 packs in stock. And I don't drink soda too often, but the motherfucking Baja Blast, you know? Like... So I went over there, and dude's like, yeah, like, I don't see any, like, and there's definitely none in the back, so I don't know if it's screwed up. Maybe he was lazy, I don't know. But the point is, it's like, stuff like that can be screwed up. Now, talking about what's releasing digital, obviously Black Widow released digital. There was a huge issue with that. Movies are just being thrown out there on digital, and you're not getting the Blu-ray for a while. We got Zack Snyder's Justice League in the U.S., 3 months later, but what was on it? One special feature. Really?
And see, that leads us into another portion of this. Is it's not just the digital aspect; it's these companies that are now side companies that are not Universal doing all this stuff, putting out special editions.
Having to swoop in, yeah.
Yeah, having to swoop in. And here's the thing, and this is the crazy piece. They're releasing stuff that's 10, 20, 30, 40 years old and have new features that have never been seen before, which means things are out there. Exactly. Shout
Urban
Factory,
Legend.
Scream Factory.
Urban Legend, Scream Factory, Shout Factory. But, like, okay, so Disc 1 is a new audio commentary with director Jamie Blanks, producer Michael McDowell.
And I will say they go out of their way to record new stuff. Like, they specifically track people down to make new bonus features if they can't find it.
Yeah, so Disc 2, new feature-length documentary on the making of Urban Legend. If you're not familiar, Urban Legend is a horror film from the 90s with Michael Rosenbaum from Smallville, Lex Luthor, Robert Englund, Tara Reid, Jared Leto, I believe, as well. But Shout Factory just swoops in and saves all these because they're just seeing all these movies get released, and it's just the movies. But no, I'm curious about deleted scenes. I remember growing up getting like Star Wars Episode 3 on DVD, and it blew my freaking mind that I watched
a whole disc of just features.
Oh yeah, and I get it. Like DVDs and whatnot aren't going to be the same as way back then, but like there was deleted scenes on there of like at the end of Episode 3, Yoda goes to Dagobah. Like that's where I was like, oh, what the like that was the coolest thing I've ever seen. Like, mind you, you can all find this on YouTube now when the movie gets released. I'm sure someone will throw it up there, but I have been waiting to go into Mortal Kombat and some other movies to check out the special features and deleted scenes. But my biggest thing now is, now that we're talking about more or less movies releasing on streaming services or streaming service exclusives like Cobra Kai, Stranger Things, Castlevania, Stargirl. My whole thing is we're getting nothing with it. Like,
and even so, like sometimes there is bonus features, but it's very rare.
I got Stranger Things season 1, like the VHS on 4K. Picked it up for $8 because some dingus put the wrong price tag in the wrong section. So
shout out to the dingus.
Yeah. So I was looking into it, and there's this whole thing about like streaming services not having too many deleted scenes because it's just like it's a streaming service. They're not constricted by, like, you know what I mean? They're not constricted by runtimes or anything like that. They could do a 46-minute episode and then a 58-minute episode and then a 40-minute episode.
Oh, yeah, that's why I love this they did with Lucifer.
Yeah. So I heard a lot of like stuff from the Duffer Brothers, just like, yeah, like realistically, we didn't have too many deleted scenes. Like it was alternate takes of like Mike riding down the street on his bike. Like, so I get that. But season 2, okay. Season 2, they released it like with another like VHS style. And yeah, you have like the cool little interior with the fake VHS. You do have like funny like Polaroid looking things that they put in here, which is cool. Like, I appreciate that. Shout out to Target. But there's still no special features. And I don't know if you ever saw this, Mike, but there's a thing on Netflix called Beyond Stranger Things.
No, I mean, you've told me about it, but like I haven't watched it yet.
I'm just like, okay, so why wouldn't you put that on there? Like,
but see, that leads...
like it's already filmed. You don't have to go out of your way. Put one extra disc on there, and you know it'll scoop it up. I will say though, there has been a lot of Stranger Things Blu-rays and 4K because I got the first season of Stranger Things, I want to say last year or the year before on 4K for $8. And it was the first season. So I'm just worried that season 3 is never going to get a Blu-ray or 4K release.
Here's the thing, and it happened. Like, and this is the stuff that bugs me in general, is that like it comes to, here's one thing, is I understand the digital aspect of this, is that Netflix will do a TV show or a movie and not release it on Blu-ray because then it's splitting their own market. They're like, okay, I'm not going to pay $7 a month to whatever it is now to watch this when I could just go buy the Blu-ray. And I understand that. But a movie like Hubie Halloween, which I know you and I are both big fans of.
Oh, hell yeah.
We would buy that 0 bonus features on Blu-ray in a heartbeat because, I mean, the Stranger Things kid also.
Yeah.
that loop around.
Oh, I picked up how you loop that.
Yeah, but the point is that a movie like that would do well on Blu-ray, but they'll probably never put it out because it would split their own market, and physical media is just slowly going downhill. And like we said before, those companies that are doing these special edition movies are saving physical releases because the companies that make those knows they're for the collector. And I consider my Blu-ray collection a collection. It's not just like, let me just get the bare bones, like, thing I was saying earlier.
Like 40 or 50, yeah.
Yeah,
like I have a collection. It's a little collection, but it's like with as much space as I have, obviously, because my family room is like a little bit smaller than your bedroom, I want to say.
Yeah, and like,
well, realistically, it might be like the same size without the closets.
I think at a certain point, and this is the thing, is like, here's how I see it, is when you buy an action figure, if you bought a loose action figure, no box, you're just getting the figure. The box would be the bonus features because most people want the box. If you're collecting and you put it out, you want the box. Yeah. And I feel like that's how I see it, is I consider my Blu-ray collection a collection. It's not just buying movies, putting in there.
Yeah, because you're a collector because you can display it. So I've been hunting for this thing for years. And it was way too expensive, and I worked my ass off to help my friend at a store and got it. It's the Sea of Thieves Xbox One controller. Now, it's very cool. I only played it a few times because it is an expensive piece. By that, I mean it's like, I think with this box opened, it's $185, I believe. I didn't even look underneath here. What else is in here? Wait, is this a digital code for some in-game content? Probably claimed already, but
you just find $100 bill tucked in the
right?
The bottom of it.
Something for Game Pass 14-day trial too. But okay, either way. So the whole point we were talking about is you call it a collection because I can put it back in here. Like, that looks cool as hell. And I'm going to display it on my shelf up there.
Yeah, and like, here's an example of this. Like, I don't know if anyone has ever heard of it, but it's pretty popular. They're having a new one come out on Shudder, but VHS franchise. It's a found footage horror movie that's really cool.
I always get that mixed up with Record.
The second one had a special edition. You can get it right now for like $20 on Amazon. Mm-hmm. It comes with a VHS, like literal VHS copy of VHS 2. So you get the Blu-ray in both, and it's a nice box set. That's the kind of stuff I look for. I didn't buy the normal edition. I made sure I paid extra for something special because it's worth adding to the collection.
Was the movie any good?
Oh, I actually like all three. I mean, all three of them are solid. I mean, but then again, it comes down to personal preference because there's a lot of people who don't like those movies. But if you haven't seen them, it's a very interesting concept.
Yeah, me and Mike were talking about earlier about like how I thought Pixels was an okay movie, and Mike really liked it. We're not going to go in depth with that,
obviously, but it's an opinion. Yeah, but I think when it really comes down to it, is that people who buy physical media, I think more often than not, want those extra features, and I feel like we get them and do certain things because, like, you look at Scream Factory has the horror movie Krampus coming out on 4K with an extended cut that has not been seen before, as far as I know. And
it's like the stuff that they couldn't put in there because the MPAA
got a PG-13 rating. And honestly, like, that's a whole other conversation. We really don't need the MPAA. It's just kind of, they've ingrained themselves in the culture so much.
Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's fine. Like the MPAA, we don't technically actually need the MPAA. It's been proven. They've ingrained themselves in the culture so much that I think people require it because the MPAA is preventing a PG-13 versus R, but I think it really comes down to the parents' discretion anyway, because the parents who are going to let the kids see PG-13 or not, or R or not, is just going to be the way it is. But anyway, point is...
You know what I just thought of, though? So, this is just me personally. Unless there's some really cool special edition, I don't buy singular TV seasons anymore.
Yeah, and I used to.
So, I'm wondering maybe why. That's why we haven't seen Stranger Things Season 3. Or specifically, we've already had the conversation, if people don't know, that any company who wishes to release on Blu-ray has to pay Sony royalties because Sony invented Blu-ray. But so Cobra Kai, Netflix's like one of their biggest shows, is only has seasons 1 and 2 on DVD. I believe season 3 might have come out on DVD,
but like it's not even, that's not even really completely, like, it's an issue. But the real issue is, like, here's an example. I'm a huge Impractical Jokers fan. I have bought every season on Blu-ray, pretty much, or not Blu-ray, DVD. I pretty much pre-ordered every season on DVD. At season 5 was the last season they put out on DVD, and they flat out said, we're not putting any more. It's not going to happen. And I think at a certain point, it's like, okay. But then when you go on Amazon to look at the digital, they split the seasons up differently. So even if you're buying season 6, you're buying episodes of season 5 or into season 7, and it's not split up the same way it is when you normally watch the show on television. So now I have to deal with the fact that I own the seasons on DVD, would love to get to the end of the show, and even though they've done it, like, new seasons are going to be up and coming, I still don't think we're going to get a big box set of those seasons. And
that blows my mind, because you have, not to get a little political or iffy about this or anything like that, but like, Mike, you're not poor, you're not rich, you're a little like more in the well-off area, or like closer to middle well-off area, but not to expose you or nothing, but you still buy shit physically. Usually people would only buy DVDs if they were like struggling, or if they were like 50, 60, 70 years old or something like that, or if they were older and didn't have a Blu-ray player. But stuff's not even releasing on DVD. Like, besides like Cobra Kai and stuff like that, but like, does it really cost that much? You would think appealing to the lower class would be one of your things, because there's a lot of people I talk to as a cable technician working for Comcast that straight up say, I don't have a Blu-ray player, I don't have streaming services.
That actually kind of blows my mind, to be honest.
But no, like, some people say mainly people say I don't have streaming services.
That blows my mind even more, because I think now more than ever, people are getting, like, no offense to your job, obviously, but people are getting rid of cable and only doing 100%. The streaming service because it's cheaper to do HBO Max, Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, and you're still spending less a month than you would be.
You think
for television, but
because you still got to pay for internet either way.
Well, yeah, no, that is true. But like, the point is like, you get those shows, and more often, like, FX, Fox, NBC have these deals with Hulu where it's right up the next day. So you don't even have to pay for cable to see it. You can now just buy Hulu monthly and watch Law and Order, Brooklyn Nine-Nine when it was still airing, What We Do in the Shadows, Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Yeah, and you don't even need to pay for cable.
The issue with that portion I have is, okay, season 1 of Stargirl is on HBO Max, okay? When Stargirl aired on CW, I could say, Stargirl, and it would take me to the menu for Stargirl on my voice remote, on my cable box, and I could look at the episodes that I missed on demand if I didn't DVR record it. So I do that now for season 2. It's on a CW show now. It's a CW show now. Can't find it on demand. Not on HBO Max. I have to watch it on the freaking CW app. And the CW app will have 2 minutes worth of like 20-second ads in like every like 10 minutes.
Yeah, and I think like
CW is a broadcast television network. It's free.
Yeah, and but like, at the same time, they do have the commercials. Because they have the commercials is the reason it's free, which I understand. But to actually loop back to something else, is that like,
my blanket, y'all, by the way, I'm getting a little cuddly.
So you got to think that when you're coming back to like Stranger Things and the Hubie Halloween conversation, is Netflix isn't putting these movies out, but they're wildly inconsistent because they refuse to put out Hubie Halloween on Blu-ray or any of the other Adam Sandler movies that he did, but they're putting out Umbrella Academy seasons 1 and 2 on Blu-ray. After
they're pricey too. They're like 40-something bucks or something like that.
No, they are. But like, it's 2 years after it came out. So they're not even consistent. They're just like randomly being like, oh, throw that out on Blu-ray, or oh, throw that out on Blu-ray.
Well, I feel like. Go ahead, sorry.
I feel like you just kind of need to pick and choose, because while I do want Umbrella Academy on Blu-ray, I just think if you're going to release Umbrella Academy, do it for Hubie Halloween. But then again, I obviously don't know the backdoor conversations that are had to make it like, oh, this is the reason we're releasing this and not this.
I'll give you some backdoor conversations. So, yeah, I just don't understand, because I get it. For Stranger Things Season 3, what they did with Seasons 1 and 2, I believe, because I wasn't a huge Stranger Things fan. Like, I would watch Season 1, boom, done. Wait until Season 2, boom, done. I wouldn't rewatch them at all. So I was like a fan, but not like a diehard fan like I am now. But so, if I remember correctly, though, Season 1 would come out. It would be like 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, whatever. And the Blu-ray for it wasn't released. I believe what they did is when they announced, like, or showed previews for Season 2 and started getting the hype train going, that's when they decided to release it. So I think if they were to release Season 3 on 4K or Blu-ray, they would probably do it holiday this season.
I mean, I'd hope so. I think at a certain point, because like we've been having this discussion, is they were supposed to, like, they released it compared to when the new season came out, so we still have next year for Season 4. So Season 3 might be put out in that, like, time being.
Yeah.
But
so I'm just Wikipediaing Stranger Things Season 3.
I'm with you. Because like we've had this discussion like 8 different times. Unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna get Season 3 on Blu-ray. I feel like the time has passed, and at this point, I just think they're just done with them, because they sell them for so cheap. Because I have them too on Blu-ray, not 4K, but
yeah, so tie-ins, video games, reception, a high Nielsen ratings, good critical response, nominations. It's so weird though. It's because I can type in Stranger Things Season 2 probably, and it'll have a section for home media on Wikipedia.
Yeah, but like as a side note, here's a good example. Is like you look at something like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. The show just ended, and the new season is eventually going to come out on DVD. But they haven't announced the DVD or any box set. And you would think after the show ends, they're like, "Hey, guess what? We're getting a big box set." Because I have the first couple seasons on DVD, but would rebuy it as a box set just to have the box art.
Yeah. So, real quick. Okay. The second season. Okay, so Stranger Things Season 2 released October 27th, 2017. For home media, released November 6th, 2018. So, okay. A year and a month later. Which makes sense, though, because Stranger Things Season 3 came out in July. So they knew it was coming. So let me type in Stranger Things Season 1, because I'm just curious about this myself. So Stranger Things Season 1, released July 15th, 2016. Home media. Woo! So what did I say? July 2016, and then home media. I think it said.
And here's the other thing, though, is whatever's left over.
Yeah, October 2017, so a year and a half later.
Well, here's the thing: is like you look at like Stranger Things, and here's a good example of this. Places like FYE will buy Target, Best Buy, Walmart leftovers and resell them, because I saw what they were selling. They were selling like at the end for Stranger Things like $8 a piece, and at Target they had, or at FYE. They were selling them at Target, obviously, but like a Target exclusive. But at FYE, they had the Target exclusive for like $20, $30, and they were going for $8 at the piece. So places will buy up what doesn't sell. And then again, if they're charging that low, it's because it didn't sell. And that's an issue for collectors, because anyone could point to that and just say, oh, this isn't selling, so we shouldn't make the Blu-rays anymore, the DVDs anymore, even though there is a market, and it's there.
Especially, like, people definitely bought the Stranger Things Blu-rays, though, because they look like VHSs.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that it gets the hype coming up. Because I remember before season 3 came out, there was like lunch pails and board shorts and all types of summer stuff for Stranger Things and all types of goodies at Target. So I know Target has an exclusive deal with Stranger Things because they'll release so many things for it. I'm just hoping
all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that they're going to do something. But yeah, I like with this whole thing that we've been talking about. Back to the like digital releases and stuff like that. I really hope that it doesn't get to the point because people want to own their movies. I don't want to be like, hey, I want to watch the original Candyman. Where is it? Oh, well, let me Google it. It says it's on Amazon and like these 3 other sites. And you go to those 3 other apps and Amazon stuff, you have to pay for it within the app. Netflix, not there. Shudder, not there. So after looking through all of your apps that you own, HBO Max, so after like 10 minutes, 15 minutes of looking, or maybe like a little less, I don't know, you're just like, oh crap, no one has it. So I have to either go out and buy it or buy it digitally.
And yeah, and that's the thing is like, because like I've had this argument with many people on my Facebook over the time, and
You're wrong,
I feel
Mike,
like
just admit it.
it's the argument is basically because whenever I say if you like something, why don't you just buy it? Like I don't understand, and this is my personal opinion.
Because I don't think you're for sale, Mike.
This is my personal opinion. I'm not trying to offend anyone when I say this, but it's like if you like a show or a movie, buy it. I don't understand the people who are like, oh, I pay for Netflix for The Office when it was on there. It's like, just go out and buy The Office and you can watch it whenever you want. The logistics doesn't make sense. And people take that as, oh, you hate streaming, you should only buy physical. And it's like, no. But I think it's important to have both. I think that there is a medium ground for that. And people who are like, oh, yeah, well, I can go watch my movies whenever I want. I'm like you said, yeah, go watch Candyman. I can because I have the Blu-ray. I can pop that in and watch it anytime.
Like, I get the people who like are just lazy and don't want to get up off their couch, and that's the problem with America, where they're just people love to be lazy. But so Stranger Things, season 1, at least 3 episodes will be on one disc. You're telling me in the matter of 3 hours, you don't want to get up just once to change the disc? Like, for real? Well, you're going to complain about that, but you're going to go to the bathroom, get snackies, and all this other stuff. Like,
yeah, and I think, like, I mean, even, like, for us Lord of the Rings fans, the extended editions, you got to replace that disc. Blu-ray, it's 2 disc, 4K, and that's another example of what, like, that leads me into a big point that I have, is that we have had this discussion, again, we've had, like, every discussion a million times, but the fact that you have it if you want to show it, the Hobbit figures that came with the exclusive, they're up there. And that's really cool. And I would have paid to have that. Yeah. Like,
that's on the barrels awesome. And stuff like that.
Now, you and I both have the Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, straight up, the Middle-earth edition on 4K, both we have it pre-ordered.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Remember the leaked one I sent you where we got some props and everyone was, like, so excited about it? Yeah. You look at all, like, the forums and stuff, and people were excited. Then they announced it, and they were just like, hey, you get a box that if you flip it 8 different ways, it has more pictures. And I'm like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, that's unique.
Yeah. I want the physical stuff. I would have paid $50, even $100 more if they were like, hey, you get the ring sitting in lava and you get the key. Like, the cool aspect of these things, for some reason, is just not there. And I'm kind of trying to figure out why they're not.
So, okay. What is it called? Because Amazon
it's called the Middle-earth box set.
Is this Middle-earth box set?
Middle-earth 4K. That's all you need to type in.
Ultimate Collector's Edition. Okay. Is this not it?
No, it is. That's just
there you go.
It's always sponsored.
Okay. Yeah, it's got 2 stars. But here's my thing. Okay. Like, that's cool. I like that. That's what's up. So you have this art book, which is nice. Lord of the Rings, Hobbit, filmmaker commentaries on the Blu-rays, which is weird it's not on 4K. Like, how difficult would that be? But Lord of the Rings trilogy, digital code redeems theatrical and extended versions. That's what's up. Blu-ray bonus disc includes an Alamo Drafthouse Lord of the Rings cast reunion. But okay.
See, what
doesn't make sense is they are not clear about what other special features are on there. Because it makes sense to me where I have the Lord of the Rings on Blu-ray.
I have that same box set.
Each box set comes with the theatrical edition. I forgot. Sean Astin autographed that. But here's the thing. The appendices. A whole bunch of special features about from book to vision, it says on there. They're on DVD. Don't care. Just would like to see something like that. Another disc, the appendices. Part 2 from Vision to Reality.
Well, each one is 5
Third
discs,
DVD.
so it's a 15 disc set.
Third DVD. Behind the Scenes. The Fellowship of the Ring. This is just for Fellowship of the Ring, and every movie has that. I believe my Hobbit editions too. But it's not telling on the website. It's not saying if it includes that, and why wouldn't it include it if it's supposed to be this ultimate collector's edition?
But here's the thing, though. It's irrelevant whether they state there's bonus features. And, like, we've had this discussion, too. Is, like, you're worried about the Bill and Ted trying to get the bonus features. And I said, you might as well not buy the 3-film set, buy the Shout Factory special edition of both, and then buy the third one. Because you're guaranteed the bonus features. And I feel like at a certain point, you get the generic bonus features. Every disc has a couple deleted scenes, maybe a commentary. But I think that with how slim these features are, sometimes I'm okay with it just because I get the movie on Blu-ray. Because there's movies that are old, like Basketball is a great example of that. Love that movie. I have it on Blu-ray. And it took forever to get released on Blu-ray. And you have movies where I've actually been, if you know who Adam Green is, he directed the Hatchet movies.
Yeah.
The movie.
Real quick, the Universal Classics is the one on 4K.
Yeah. He did a movie called Spiral. And the DVD has more features than the Blu-ray. Like, when I met him at a con, he flat out said, I know you like Blu-ray, but buy the DVD because if you like features, you're going to want the DVD. And that bums me out because I would rather just...
Like, even the director is saying that.
Yeah, and I'd rather have the Blu-ray and the bonus features on DVD. If you just said, hey, here's the Blu-ray, you don't get the DVD copy, but you get the bonus features on DVD, I would say, hell yeah, now I have to buy the movie twice.
You can pre-order... You can pre-order Universal Monsters on Target's site, but Best Buy just says coming soon.
Yeah, exactly. And it's because Best Buy's thing is screwed up. But you look, okay, a great example of this is Kevin Smith. You know, I am the biggest Kevin Smith fan.
Yeah.
Love him. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, I have on Blu-ray and DVD because the DVD is the only one that has the second disc with all the bonus features. And hold on, here, let me read you the difference between the two discs.
Okay. I'm looking for the It Chapter 1 and 2 4K because I always wanted that. Like the collection. Like the double pack or whatever. But I can't find it now. I know it's on there. Yeah, 2-film collection. I know they released it on Blu-ray and 4K. Well, if I click this, the 2-film collection. If I scroll down, It Chapter 2 Blu-ray contains 2017's It and 2019's It Chapter 2. Not rated, horror, and it doesn't say anything about special features.
Here.
I want to know what's on it, but if you look. I don't think they'll have the back of the Blu-ray, but if you look at the back of the Blu-ray in stores, which I've done before, it doesn't tell you. It just says special features are not rated. It's like, okay, well, the special features could literally just be a commentary, or it could be like 30 different things.
Like, and I agree. Like, see, that's where you and I differ slightly. Is I don't really care if it tells me it has bonus features. I'm okay because I know it's not going to be up to standard of what I think bonus features should be. So I just accept what I get because I'm not going to buy physical over digital for bonus features. And most people who want the physical won't. But, like, check something like this out. Here is the Blu-ray copy.
Of Mike and Justin Strike Back.
Yeah, hold on. Let me just take this, because I got the price tag on this still for some reason.
We're going to show you how much of a cuck Mike was back in the day and paid hundreds of dollars for his Jay and Silent Bob Blu-ray.
Signed by Kevin Smith.
Okay.
No, but in all sincerity, I bought this at the stash, so shout out to the stash. We usually go like 3 times a year, but
yeah.
Here's the thing. Look at the bonus features on that. I don't know if that's backwards. I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, I can see it clearly.
But let me read it to you. It says bonus features. Feature film audio commentary with director Kevin Smith, producer Scott Mosier, and actor Jason Mewes. And a movie showcase and seamless menus.
Yeah.
That's okay, right?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Now check this out. This is the Blu-ray special features. You see that long list?
Oh shit!
That's
the DVD special features.
Yes. Bonus material, feature commentary, deleted scenes, secret stash intros, gag reel with intro, internet trailers with intro, TV spots, still gallery, storyboard, behind-the-scenes featurette, Morris Day in the Time, Learning the Moves, 2 music videos, Comedy Central's Real Comedy, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, cast and crew filmographies, Guide to Morris Day in the Time, French language track, Spanish subtitles. There's a DVD-ROM materials of an open mic commentary, screenplay viewer, cast and crew filmographies, Guide to Morris Day in the Time, web links.
That's nuts. I will say certain things like with the music videos. I will say maybe are you missing the insert?
No. I mean, well, this one didn't come with an insert. The original did. This one didn't.
Okay, yeah, because I was about to say I remember my brother had that one and he had a little insert.
Well, that's because the insert comes with the one that's extra fat, which I used to have but lost the discs, so I rebought it for the bonus features. But like, think about it, like the fact that I had to buy this twice to get all those bonus features, like the difference in bonus features between these 2 movies alone.
Yeah, and I think
absolutely insane.
I think also it probably comes down to what rights you own. Like, obviously, maybe they don't own the rights to that Morris Day in the Time song, like distribution rights. So I don't know how all that works, but you just think it could be easy enough as like popping one thing onto something and
and that's
popping it off. So this is one thing that like.
Oh yeah, no, we've had this discussion a million times too.
Yeah, well, yeah, we were talking about this earlier, but hold on.
In Chapter 2, not having the. Oh, yep, this, yeah.
So the Evil Dead Groovy Collection, very cool.
Have Army of Darkness, which bothers me to no end.
Yeah.
But then again, owned by different companies. So
yeah, that looks cool.
And I will buy, and that's the thing. I have the Blu-ray of the first 2 and the Blu-ray of all the seasons of the show. But because of the 4K, and I don't own it in 4K, I'll upgrade to that box set because that, to me, is worth it.
Yeah, and I like how they, like, list Ash vs. Evil Dead, Season 1, Season 2, Season 3. Like, it's got tons of special features. Evil Dead 2, tons of special features. The first one, tons of special features. Oh, yeah, look, it says the Evil Dead DVD, and it has all these special features. But, okay. Doesn't have Army of Darkness, I get it. Like, and Shout Factory's doing something with that. But why not have the Evil Dead reboot either? It's just Evil Dead 1 and 2 on 4K, and then Ash vs. Evil Dead on Blu-ray.
Different company again.
I don't need Ash vs. Evil Dead on 4K, but like, it's just it's so weird.
It's because of it's literally comes down to different companies own different things. It's the same.
Then why make a collection?
Yeah, but it's the same reason we literally have, and this is not an exaggeration, at least 3 different Friday the 13th 8-film collections when there's 10 movies, because you have the original that came out a handful of years ago.
You know, it's like a super bare bones basic one.
Well, they had the one that was in the tins. Like, it came in a tin, and I have that. And then they put Shout Factory or Scream Factory, same company, put out the big box set.
Make some money, my friend.
Yep. You showed it earlier in the video. That box set had, which I love, I just will say, all the individual discs, and it has everything you could read, bonus features, so much more.
The Shout Factory goes balls deep with that shit.
And I'm glad they do. But then you have literally, they keep re-releasing. They're re-releasing it again, the 8-movie collection, because the last 2, 9 and 10, because of the lawsuit, Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X, hence why they're called Jason something and not Friday the 13th. They're not included in that box set. And then I agree with you. Why even make the box set, especially re-releasing it for the 3rd time? Like, people who haven't bought it aren't going to buy it now.
So from this, I mean, obviously we prefer physical. That's not, but like we're saying, the whole thing with digital, we get the whole thing where streaming and digital purchases. Yeah, we can just stream it. We don't have to get up. Yeah, we can download whatever DVR recordings we have and take it on a plane. It's great for people who don't have a lot of space. So if you live in Philly or New York City and stuff like that, like, the city people don't have a lot of space. So I get that. So I'll be the first to admit, digital does have some pluses when it comes to movies for streaming, games, when it comes free with Xbox Live games with gold, stuff like that, but we won't really get into that too much. It's just, at the end of the day, I wish they would have a better approach to releasing stuff physically, because we have these companies, and I guess good for them, because they're making mad money and stuff sells out all the time, like Scream Factory, Shout Factory. Well, they're the same entity or whatever. But who's the other one? Arrow. Arrow does.
But like, as a side note,
releases.
As a side note, here's a perfect example. Oh, by the way, you still have the Evil Dead thing up.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you.
As a side note, here's another example. There is a company, and a couple companies do this. They do this thing where they, which I genuinely appreciate, where they won't include a lot of bonus features, but they will put out a movie on physical just so we have the updated copy. Like, Dimension 13 is one of Francis Ford Coppola's, I believe, first movies.
I was about to say, what the heck is that?
Yeah, and here, hold on 1 second. I'll just to prove a point.
So yeah, it looks like Mike's grabbing that. I mean, at the end of the day, like, you know, guys, I love the physical. So let's just see what Mike's bringing us.
Dimension 13 Director's Cut, Francis Ford Coppola. It is put out by a company called Vestron Video. Vestron Video is another one of those low independent companies that put out movies. Now,
I've never heard
the only special features that has is an introduction by him, a commentary, and a prologue.
But if that's the only way to get it physically, then I'll grab it.
But that's the thing, though, and this is what I love about companies like this, is even though Shout Factory's putting out big name stuff that costs $20, $30, even though it doesn't have a lot of features, this is its first time on Blu-ray, $11.99, or yeah, I believe it was $11 or $12.99, one of the two, from Best Buy.
How much was accepted on Blu-ray? Because I remember that came out for the first time on Blu-ray recently, right?
And it was fairly cheap. I don't remember if I bought that yet. I know I want to get it, but again, yeah, that's a movie.
Me about my wiener.
Yeah, they start at like $13 a piece. Those movies that come out later. I mean, you even look at something like Toy Soldiers, Mouse Hunt. All these movies that are finally getting put on Blu-ray usually go for around $13. But Vestron Video specifically, even though they don't have a lot of features, $11.99, I believe, is what this costs. That's nothing to actually have this physically. Francis Ford Coppola's first movie, whether you like it or not, is irrelevant to the fact that things like this are what's keeping the
faith a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is because if companies can release this $11.99, it sell well. I've got a couple of Vestron Video stuff. And, like, I bought Vestron Video stuff just because, like, there's a movie that I bought recently just because Bruce Campbell was in it. Speaking of the Evil Dead thing.
Yeah.
And Vestron Video, $11.99, $12, whatever it is, at Walmart. So $12 at Walmart.
Okay,
and
so they're going in the mainstream stores. We're seeing Shudder stuff. Tons of Shudder exclusive movies getting put into
Walmart, Best Buy, absolutely.
Yeah. And so I'm super stoked about that, because Shudder, I think, is the biggest streaming company that does physical releases I've seen in those stores.
Absolutely. And you know, the funny thing is they're even not even, like, legitimately not even close to the level of Netflix, Hulu, and these. Yeah. And I
Mortuary
actually
Collection.
really
Fantastic,
enjoyed
by
that
the way.
movie. Oh yeah, no, that's very good.
Like, you watched it?
Oh yeah, I did. It's another one of those bit horror movies where you get individual stories that are told, and that's the thing is you get movies like that,
And
and the
I
only
have the Shudder app too, mind you guys. I have
yeah,
Shudder.
I have Shudder as well, and I would still buy the Shudder. Like I will watch multiple things on Shudder, but if I like it, I'll buy it physically. I still would buy Dimension 13. Like if it was on Shudder, I'd still buy it physically. But it's the fact that movies like this are getting put out in general, even without the bonus features, because yes,
Because
we've been
they
talking
know the
about
physical man is still there
yeah, yes, we've been
for
talking about the fact that physical
an
media,
audience.
yeah, and we've been talking about the fact that physical media needs bonus features, and I do believe they really should have bonus features. They should have bonus features out the ass.
Yeah.
I mean, we even talked about when you could play the game on we were kids playing the game on Harry Potter.
Yeah.
When you got the Blu-ray, but now
Yeah.
you have stuff like this, and while bonus features are important, I'm still willing to buy the movie without the bonus features because I get it on physical copy. I have it now.
Yeah, if they decided to make this movie here, now this is actually an expensive DVD that I have. If they decided to put this on Blu-ray, the Fox version of this, which is what this is,
Oh yeah, that's
I would
the
buy that in a
exclusive hard to
heartbeat.
find copy.
If it's just a Blu-ray, I would buy it in a heartbeat. I have Stargirl and Swamp Thing on a Blu-ray up there on my shelf for the DC section. Just bought it on Blu-ray because I wanted to support the show. People don't realize if you're not buying stuff, if you're pirating it, which I'm still guilty of doing for a few little things here or there. I feel like a lot of people are. Your shows won't come back. It's
Yeah,
just that's the thing.
A perfect example of this, again, we loop back to the Evil Dead. We both met Dana De Lorenzo this past weekend.
Yeah.
And as both huge Ash versus Evil Dead fans in general, I mean, come on, like I'm wearing the shirt, and that wasn't planned, but at a certain point, you need to realize that like because we torn it so much is why we didn't get the third season ends in a cliffhanger. Obviously, if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil it.
Yeah, and Dana De Lorenzo said like the fans are are keeping the Evil Dead franchise alive. Obviously, that's just a general statement that people would say. But in this situation, it's true because I don't think Dana De Lorenzo has appeared in a lot of stuff.
No, and she hasn't. And the thing is like I remember, like I commandeered my friend's TV to watch it on Stars and bought all the Blu-ray. But the thing is even buying the Blu-ray isn't enough anymore. They want people to watch it, but the problem is like we talked about earlier, is more people are not paying for cable or paying for the higher channels because they get everything else.
Yeah, and then they're focusing on the streaming numbers. But I think
exactly. And there is no streaming numbers for that because you still had to buy Stars to get it. And me personally, I wasn't willing to pay for Stars for that show, but I made sure I went to friends' houses. I did what I could to watch it legally.
Yeah,
so that they would continue making it.
There's at least a third of the audience out there though that says, "Oh yeah, it comes out on Disney Plus. I'll have to download it. Oh, it comes out on Disney Plus. I'll have to check my site. Oh, it comes out on Disney Plus. I'll have to check my Kodi stick or Fire stick or whatever." You know what I mean? Like people have jailbroken stuff. I know it's become harder and harder to do that, but there's still an audience out there for that. Like people have Plex servers and just share their digital downloads of Stranger Things so people don't have to use Netflix. So I think just to consolidate all our thoughts and opinions on this, obviously digital is not something I am going to go out and spend hundreds of dollars on because I don't like owning nothing.
Look, if I'm paying money, I want to be able to hold it in my hands.
Yeah, that's fair. But I mean, unless I really want to support the movie, if they said Swamp Thing was available only released on digitally and that's their only plan, I would have bought it in the hopes to get a season 2.
Same, and I bought the Blu-ray, and you see that Derek Mears worked really hard on that show. He was very proud of it. He said on multiple occasions how proud he was of it. And you look at something like we said, Ash versus Evil Dead. The producers of the show flat out stated, and the creators, whatever, have said we didn't get a 4th season because so many people pirated it. They publicly stated that, and it's still an issue.
Sucks. Yeah,
it's still an issue. The fact that they even said it and nobody was like, "Oh, well then let me try to make it better." No, they were just like, "I'm still going to do it anyway."
People are pirating stuff too because obviously there's a decent amount of the audience that's pirating stuff just because they don't want to pay for it and they're cheap. But like There was a old movie, Malcolm McDowell, that my friend told me about called Time After Time. Never seen it. Couldn't find it on any streaming service, and I just wanted to watch it, so I downloaded it. But like I said, to wrap this all up, I like being able to just, I want to watch this, yoink. Or like, hey, I want to watch this movie. I want to see if it's in stock at Best Buy. Like back in the day, people took chances on movies and stuff like that. Like you would rent it. I get that that's not really an option anymore unless you do Redbox. It's still a thing at certain places. But like, I had heard about the Mortuary Collection. I saw a trailer for it, and I was like, okay, I'll go into Best Buy and buy it because that's just like I wish more people would have that mindset. A lot of people and a lot of people I know with anxiety and certain other
Like me.
disorders, yeah, they just want to buy what they're familiar with, and that's why like a lot of the movies, Mike, what would you say? Like 2/3 of the collection of movies you've had, you've at least seen them in theaters.
Yeah, I mean, let's put it this way. I
Just you've at
calculated.
least seen them before you've bought them.
Well, yes, but let's put it this way. The amount of movies that I haven't seen as of this moment in my Blu-ray collection, I haven't seen about less than 15% of the movies that I own, I haven't seen yet. And I just bought it cheap to watch. So that just shows that, like, and that's only like, I mean, it sounds like a lot, but that's only like 100 and something, 200 something movies.
It's not. So we got the collections. I mean, you are talking to people who both collect. It would have been interesting to have someone on here who is more of a fan of digital. Maybe we can do that next time and like see the benefits from their point of view. But we're definitely going to do more episodes like this. What's the next episode going to be about? We're going to brainstorm because we have like 18 different ideas. We're going to pick one to go
I have
with.
the exact idea because of what we played off at the end of this video, which should be.
Well, you can. I'll just stop you there, and you can hold it in your head. We'll keep it a surprise.
I will. No, because I know part 3 because it plays right off.
So there's no point in me asking your final thoughts because from the whole video, we just know your final thoughts.
It's the same thing as I said in the first video. Support what you love. That's it.
There you go. Support what you love, and we love collecting movies. We want to see movies get sequels that we like, and that's the end of it. So, Mike, again, dude, thank you for joining me. I know we could talk for 3 more hours.
Thank you for having me. I love these. These are a blast.
And I just hope maybe you guys will put this in the background while you're doing stuff. And who knows, maybe if I like this enough, turn it into a podcast. If any of you guys like that idea, put it in the comments. So, any last thoughts, Mike?
I mean, stick with what I said. Support what you love and make sure that what you love continues in general.
Yeah. So it's not a bad message to give to people, honestly. No. So, all right, dude. Well, I'll talk to you another time, all right?
Catch you.
Take care.